Welcome, everybody, to a Rated R review. Yes, it's a general recap of NXT UK TakeOver Cardiff. I am the Rated R reviewer, your host, Stephen Osborne, joined as always by the General Jerry Slaughter.
Good afternoon, wrestling fans.
Support NoDQ.
This was NXT UK TakeOver Cardiff, and I woke up earlier than I normally ever fucking do.
Yep.
To watch this pay-per-view, but well worth it. Wow.
It was just brilliant. I'm not sure if it topped Blackpool, but it was right up there on par with it. It was a fantastic.
Dear Christ, it topped Blackpool. Blackpool was great and all. I mean, especially it being the inaugural pay-per-view, Finn Balor showing up.
Yeah.
Cesaro isn't quite, I don't think, the superstar name that Finn Balor is.
Yeah.
Even though he's been around longer.
But action-wise, we got our fill.
Yeah, this was a really, really great pay-per-view. So we start off the night completely breaking the General's order. Noam Dar versus Travis Banks instead of the tag team match. And this was okay.
Yeah, it surprised the shit out of me because it was a good match out of Travis Banks. It actually made me see, it's like, okay, I see what some of the buzz, because, Kiwi buzzsaw.
Yeah, we all get your pun there.
Yeah,
Terry.
I'm a dad. They just
come to you. I know.
Yeah. But I finally got to see what the big deal is with Travis Banks. He actually put on an extremely great match. I was making my jokes and cracking my wise that he was making it down the ramp, and he hadn't made it all the way down there yet. He still could get injured, but he didn't, and the match turned into something quite special, I believe. So.
You believe? I don't know. I liked the match for what it was.
It was a good starting point.
I enjoyed it more than I have most of Travis Banks' matches, but it was all right. If it was going to be anywhere, might as well start the show with it.
Mm-hmm.
I think Noam Dar was best outside of the wrestling moves, like his acting and his taunting of Travis Banks and
all
the way
the
he taunts the crowd,
yeah.
and he is so good. Like his facial facial expressions when stuff happens. Like he's great. Travis Banks has one face and it's flat.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, it was an okay match. It exceeded my expectations, I would think.
Yeah.
But Banks goes for a slice of heaven there at the end, but Dar kicks his feet out from under him into the corner. And then after that, he hits that Nova Roller. 1, 2, 3. Decent match. Could have been a main event on a regular NXT show.
Yeah, it very well could have been on the dark matches, like as the main event for that. I wouldn't have been angry about that either. But there's really no place else for Noam Dar to go right now in NXT UK. I mean, there's really no secondary belt, and you really don't see him being a challenger to, the champion. So,
but he does get his spot on, they said, every takeover.
Yeah.
Every UK takeover, Noam Dar is supposed to get a match. Now, maybe in 6 months we'll find out whether that happens or not.
They could have very well introduced a new belt by then, and he'll be included into that match.
So after this, we get an unexpected match. We expected Cesaro to be there. He said he was going to be there.
Yeah.
We weren't sure in what capacity thus. His capacity was he was challenging somebody to a match, but he didn't know who. And I can't remember. I don't know if it was Radzi, but somebody asked him if he cares, who, or if there's anybody he wants to face. He's like, I don't give a flying fuck who the fuck.
Pretty much. As long as I get to fight, we're all right.
At that point, Ilya Dragunov walks up to him, gets in camera, looks at him, and then just takes off to the ring. And we get his music, and he gets to the ring.
And Cesaro just puts in mouthpiece and follows him. He knows what's happening.
Yeah, he's fine with it. This was a surprisingly great match.
Oh, yes.
I mean, I know Cesaro can put on really good matches in a pinch, but from what we've seen out of Ilya Dragunov, other than the match with Cassius Ohno, I would say this was unexpectedly a great match. Damn.
I was saying it was like super intense, super impactful. Like what you really expect out of both Cesaro and out of Dragunov, really, because Dragunov usually does a lot of clotheslines and a lot of impact moves, but he was forced to actually, take a lot of punishment this time around, too.
Oh, yeah. And the crowd was super into Cesaro.
Yeah.
He got the biggest pop of the night thus far when he came out.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of surprising, but I guess not really.
Not for me.
He is a European wrestler.
Rightfully so. As Claudio Castagnoli, he pretty much reigned supreme over there for a long time. Like, just on the independent circuit everywhere. And for him to come back as Cesaro and, be around all the European countries and whatnot, and possibly be in NXT UK for a little bit longer, which would be wonderful.
Hell yeah!
I am all about some. I'm all about some Cesaro there.
Absolutely. My first note of this match was the big swing. So, Ilya goes for that 6-1 line, which I've been calling the 6-1 lariat for some reason. But Cesaro catches his feet, pulls him into the ring. This was possibly the longest swing that we have ever seen Cesaro do.
45 seconds at least. Not 45
No, it wasn't 45 seconds. It was a 40 count by the audience.
40 count, yeah.
The audience gave it a 40 count. Now, they're not counting rotations. They're just counting to 40.
Yeah, I'm saying it's like 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi.
So maybe 25 or 30 rotations.
Oh, yeah. At least.
Wow, I'm surprised neither one of them just like completely fell over after that.
His eyes look like the middle of a tilt-a-whirl.
My next note is Dragunov with some offense. He goes to throw Cesaro back into the ring, but Cesaro gets like caught up near the corner. So Dragunov goes to the other corner and hits a coast-to-coast drop kick to the side of his head.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Cesaro hits a brilliant move. We debated what to call it. I called it the Gorilla to Sleep.
Gorilla to Sleep was just
the
brilliant.
Gorilla to Sleep. Or maybe the Military Press GTS. But it was...
Granted, it rhymes, but I think Gorilla to Sleep is that much better.
Looked like Dragunov was going to take the match. He hit a Death Valley driver into the corner and then went up for his senton off the top. And then goes for that Moscow torpedo. But Cesaro counters it, and we thought he was going to just initially counter it with just a European uppercut. Nope. Pop-up.
Yep.
Really big pop-up into a European uppercut. Immediately picks him up. No head crank. He's not wasting time. He hits him with the neutralizer. 1, 2, 3. Cesaro picks up the victory.
Well, the Swiss Superman just threw him up in the air, knocked the torpedo into orbit.
After the match, Cesaro goes to head out, but he turns around on the ramp. He looks at Ilya, comes back, sets up. It looks like he's going to do Ilya's move, but better.
Yeah.
Or maybe do a European uppercut after the run.
Yeah.
Which is, it's odd. I mentioned this before the match even started. It's odd that when we first saw Ilya arrive and he was doing that torpedo headbutt, we thought it looked like a European uppercut. And we're sitting here like, fucking Cesaro does it better. And here we go. So he sets up for it, but as soon as Ilya gets up and is ready to take it, Cesaro stands up and extends his hand for a handshake. And then pulls him in and he whispers sweet nothings in his ear for a minute. And then
does the NXT logo with
his arms and then takes off. That was pretty cool.
It was a pretty awesome moment.
Now, up next is what I would call the sleeper match of the night.
Yeah.
Not the one that put you to sleep, the one that stole the fucking show. Whoa. Okay, so outside of the general order, we didn't start the night off with this, but we've got the tag team triple threat match for the NXT UK Tag Team Championships. Mark Andrews and Flash Morgan Webster versus Gallus' Mark Coffey and Wolfgang. And then Zach Gibson and James Drake, collectively the grizzled young veterans. And isn't it apropos that this would be the match where they're finally introduced coming to the ring as the grizzled young veterans instead of Zach Gibson and James Drake?
Yeah.
Apropos why? Jerry was right.
Yep.
That is why. I've got a lot of notes on this match. Let's cut to the chase, though. Flash Morgan Webster and Mark Andrews win the titles tonight.
And rightfully so.
Wow, they stole the show in this match.
Very. Everybody knows that I am not high on Flash Morgan Webster at all.
Me neither.
And granted, a lot of the offense he ate on this match.
Yeah, that's true. But Andrews, for real.
But he also delivered some great offense as well. And I think maybe it was that big fight atmosphere that probably brought more of it out of him.
Maybe.
And the fact that he walked in knowing they're going to be champions and whatnot, and he had to put on an awesome show to show that they actually deserve it. But they delivered like tenfold. And Zach Gibson and James Drake, they were on their game. Gallus, they had their strategy going in. And I was kind of curious on how they were going to do the whole tag thing, since it was like 3 teams. And that got cleared up real quickly. Pretty much anybody can tag anybody they wanted in. And
you just can't tag in against your own partner.
Exactly.
Via the what was it, the New Age Outlaw rule.
Yeah. You can't tag in your own partner. But otherwise,
no, you can tag in your own partner.
Yeah, but you can't.
Can't tag in against your own partner.
I was about to say you can't pin them.
Right.
So that would have been weird for Zach Gibson to pin James Drake. You'd be like, "Oh, we won,
but
we lost,
but still
champions,
and soon." So that was my pick. I picked title retention, and I was wrong. They teased it.
Oh yeah, a couple
times.
And
they did such a great job with the story there at the end. Let me start at the beginning, because my first note is about who to thunk it, Flash Morgan Webster.
Yeah.
Because him and Mark Andrews, they stole the show. And when I say they, I do mean both of them.
Yes.
Collectively and separately. So they hit 2 moves at this point. I think Andrews just goes for a Tope Con Hero. But Flash Morgan Webster runs the apron, does a 619 around the post.
Yep.
And hits, I think it was Mark Coffey.
Yeah, it was Mark Coffey.
With a Hurricane Rana off the 6-1. Like, whoa. On the outside. Like, that was crazy. They do stereo Tope Con Heroes first to the Grizzled Young Veterans on this side. And then they get back in the ring and do stereo ones to the Gallus on the other side. That was crazy. Gallus hits a catapult into a Samoan drop on Mandrews. This is important because this comes in later. So Wolfgang catapults him into Mark Coffey, who grabs him up and hits him with a Samoa drop.
Yeah. Very fluid. Very nice looking.
Never seen that before. That was cool.
No.
Flash Morgan Webster with a high knee into a Mandrews reverse Rana.
That was my move, I'm pretty sure, of the night. Because, like, Wolfgang landed squarely on his head on that one.
Yeah, he had Mandrews on his shoulders, and then here comes Flash with the knee to the face, and then Mandrews just follows it up with that reverse Rana.
It was beautifully done, beautifully landed. It looked like something RVD would have, like, how RVD would have landed from a pile driver or whatnot back in the day. Like, just straight up and down.
We saw Mandrews hit a shooting star press off the top rope onto the outside onto Gallus and Gibson. And then he hits a Stun Dog Millionaire to Gibson, who it was a little bit different. It wasn't your traditional vertical suplex because he had him cradled.
Yeah.
Yeah, but still, general rule number 1.
You don't try vertically suplex Mark Andrew, ever.
And after that, Flash Morgan Webster comes off the top rope with a swanton near fall. See, Gibson and Drake take over. Gibson hits a Helter Skelter, and Drake follows it up with a 450 splash for a near fall. And then Flash Morgan Webster does this double headbutt, I believe, onto Gallus.
Yeah.
And, no, onto the Grizzly Young Vet. No. Yeah. Yeah, just onto the Grizzled Young Veterans. I don't know how the fuck that works. It's a little less believable than the double Rana.
I'm about to say, like, his head's just not that wide. He's
Like
not very
if
small.
Drake and Gibson had leaned in towards each other, maybe, but no, they were just standing there, and
Yeah.
it just went whack
Like
to
if,
their
like
shoulders.
if they had come up together with almost like their heads touching, and all of a sudden Flash Morgan Webster, like,
Whack,
you know,
yeah,
went
that
or
would
something.
make. Well, anyway,
Yeah.
this puts everybody down except for Gallus, who come in and clear house, and Wolfgang looked like a bat out of hell. Even the commentators mentioned that normally Mark Coffey holds Wolfgang back. No, Wolfgang is just laying down the attack.
Yeah.
Just awesome. And then he goes, let's see. Oh, that's when everybody ends up outside other than Gallus, like clustered together, and you know something's coming.
Yeah.
So Mark Coffey throws Wolfgang, who comes off the ropes, like cradles him and throws him onto everybody outside.
He threw away his coffee.
He threw away his coffee. Oh, so Wolfgang threw. Well, anyway. Yeah, Wolfgang threw Mark over the top rope. That's my bad.
Yeah.
So we see Gallus hit their finisher, that power slam, with Mark Coffey doing that kick to the back of the head before it. But they go for a slow cover. They like want to pose, and then I think it was Flash Morgan Webster was being held down by Mark Coffey by the neck.
Yep.
To watch Mandrews get pinned, but then at the very last second he breaks free and breaks up the pinfall. And then Wolfgang goes for that catapult again, but Flash Morgan Webster reverses and hits a fucking
Canadian Destroyer.
Yeah, he hits a Canadian Destroyer onto Wolfgang. So that's the second time he's landed on his head.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus Christ. Outside,
they're just flying all over the place.
Outside, Gibson grabs up Wolfgang and picks him up in an electric chair, and Drake comes off of the ropes with a clothesline through a Sudacita. That was fucking nuts. They replayed that like twice.
Mm-hmm.
And then now we've got the Grizzled Young Veterans and Mark Andrews and Flash Morgan Webster in the ring, and never gonna get it, never gonna get it. Now it's the time for the breakdown, and they just start beating the shit out of each other. Mark Andrews ends up hitting a double Slumdog Millionaire. Stundog Millionaire. I'm sorry. Whatever the fuck it is. I hate that name. And he hits it on both the Grizzled Young Veterans. And then Flash Morgan Webster hits that 630 senton for a near fall. But Gibson pulls the ref out. And so while Gibson and the ref are arguing, Mandrews goes to attack Gibson over the top rope, and he hits him with that double throat chop.
Yep.
That was a little sick looking. And then he gets back in the ring, and they hit the Ticket to Mayhem on Flash Morgan Webster. But instead of immediately going for the pin, Zach Gibson tells Drake to take care of Gallus, who's getting up on the outside. So he does a Tope Suicida, and he takes both of them out. But that takes him out of the match while Mark Andrews went up to the top rope, and he hits
fall to pieces,
a shooting star press onto Zach Gibson right before the 3 count, rolls him over, pulls Flash Morgan on top of him. 1, 2, 3, we have new champions. What a fucking match.
It was, you couldn't be mad at the match in any way, shape, or form. It was a beautifully crafted tag match. For a triple threat match, too, for everybody getting so much offense as they did.
Yeah.
It was beautiful. It was perfect. There wasn't a lot of rest time, except for there was that one point where Gallus was out of the match for about 2 or 3 minutes. But then you saw them raise up from the sides. And that's what I thought was really brilliant at that moment. They looked like a couple of hyenas, you know, that ready to just pick up the scraps. They just looked ready to go.
Yeah, I had a lot of notes, and that wasn't near all the spots.
Yeah.
Wasn't even close.
No.
Jeez, what a fucking match. So
that was just brilliant pacing on their part. So far, the matches have been paced perfectly.
So after this, we get a look at Tony Storm in the back, and I believe Kaylee Ray as well. But we thought they were really going to break up the Digital Order.
Yeah.
And they weren't going to have the women's match on right before the men's title match. But no. Up next, we actually do get the third non-title match. Or no.
Well, third non-title match, yeah, because we
Yeah, that's true. That's
did
Dave Mastiff versus Joe Coffey. This is Falls Count, or well, it is Falls
last
Count
man
anywhere.
standing.
Last man standing.
Mhm.
I have it in the notes, and I didn't even read it.
Nope.
So, I think this match was a little short for most last man standing matches, but
The amount that they pushed into it was
the stuff
insane.
they put in, stuff I've never seen, and it was everything it needed to be. The finish was perfect, and it actually exceeded my expectations going in because I feel like Mastiff is so big that there's just a lot of spots outside of a traditional match that he's not capable of doing, but he does enough.
Yeah. I thought it was going to be some sort of like shady means by Joe Coffey to get the pinfall or get the get up before the takedown.
Not even shady, just smart.
Yeah, he used a very smart maneuver in the process, but leading up to everything, it was anybody's ball game. It really, really was. These guys were throwing each other everywhere, hitting each other with anything that wasn't strapped in or tightened on, or I mean, for God's sakes, the ring broke within the first 30 seconds of the match.
They used pool cues. They used a cricket bat.
Yep.
As Jerry mentioned to me.
Cricket Wireless.
Yeah, that is a WWE sponsor right there.
Yep.
So I think that's genius. They used tables. We saw 2 tables get broken. One first by Joe, who does, what do they call it? The Glasgow push or something?
Yeah.
Into Mastiff through the table. And then Mastiff does that into the void onto Coffee through the another table. Then they battle into the crowd. They end up just in this spot, almost of respect, where Mastiff has got 2 chairs, and he throws one to Joe, and now they're going to duel with chairs. So they actually walk to a larger aisleway.
They jousted!
And they joust with chairs. They just run at each other and collide with the chairs at their chests. And they both go down.
Yeah.
I have more notes than that, but I mean, Joe Coffey wins this match. He delivers Dave Mastiff's first loss. Didn't have to be a pinfall.
Yep.
And he does it so smartly. Any other notes before I get down to all of the...
Pretty much what we ended up getting was, like you said, Mastiff finally got defeated. Like, his win streak is over. And Joe Coffey got a little redemption for losing to Pete Dunne in the first NXT UK TakeOver. So, Mastiff came out looking strong regardless. And weirdly enough, I saw the respect on Joe's face towards Mastiff at the end of that match.
And vice versa.
And yeah, they pretty much were like, okay, that was fun, more or less.
Yeah, basically. And it was fun.
Yeah.
You knew we were getting something special in the first few minutes of this match, because Mastiff throws Joe Coffey into the corner so hard that it breaks the turnbuckle bolt on the top rope, and it comes off.
Yeah.
And immediately Mastiff picks it up and uses it. Uses it just choking the face of Joe Coffey. And then when he lets go, he pushes him down with the bolt on his face still.
Yeah. You're over here like, whoa, whoa, whoa.
Yeah, whoa, whoa, whoa. That looked like it really fucking hurt. That looked like it broke his jaw. And then Joe ends up getting back up, though, and he goes for a move in the corner, but he can't grab the top rope because there's no top rope. So he goes to spring, but he just falls. And then Mastiff picks him up and starts beating on him, then grabs the bolt again and just starts, like, poking it in his face.
Yeah.
Like, up his nostrils and shit. Mastiff wasn't playing.
No.
Was not playing. Let's see. The Glasgow send-off. That's what they called it.
Yeah.
Through the table. Then we saw the other table spot.
Saw some use of a chain through the match, too.
Yeah, right before the dueling chair spot, Joe Coffey put the chain around his fist and he used it to punch, basically, the chair away from a third chair shot that Mastiff was going to land. He landed 2 across his back, and then I guess, it's not going to happen when they go for a headshot. but you want to see what's going to happen. In this case, he punches the fucking chair.
Oh, yeah.
And then turns around and hits a All Raw Best for the Bells with the chain on his fist. Whew. Jesus. So after the dueling chairs, we saw Mastiff do a Finley driver onto the announcer's table with Joe Coffey on his shoulders and the fireman. And then after that, they both go up to the top of the stage that's behind the announcer's table.
There was that epic moment. It was like, it only lasted maybe like 2 or 3 milliseconds. Where you had almost like the Lars Sullivan type silhouette thing going on because they were both blocking out the lights.
Yeah, and then they realized and they turned the lights off.
Yeah.
But it's just kind of funny to me because they both took separate routes, one on one side, one on the other, to get up there at the same time. Like they both had the same. I'm just like, all right, huh, okay, sure, whatever. It's not choreographed at all. They get up there and they're battling it out, but they're over at the edge, and Mastiff headbutts Joe Coffey, and it knocks them both silly, and they just fall.
You had him by the beard.
Oh,
fell back.
Both of them fall through a couple of tables, and they struggle to get up. They crawl over to a couple of these stage boxes that are on casters on wheels. And keep in mind, they are all swiveling casters.
Yeah.
Sometimes you get the 2 set ones so you can steer. So they use those to get up. And Joe makes it to his feet at 8. At 9, he kicks the other box out from under Mastiff, who face plants right before the 10 count. And Joe Coffey wins the match.
You're over here, play Joe Coffey's music. Play Joe Coffey's music!
There's no music, there's no announcer, there's no nothing. But then the ref goes over there and raises Joe Coffey's hand.
And then the music starts.
And like I said, way exceeded my expectations for this match. It
was so much better than the Eddie Dennis street fight.
Way better.
Yeah.
Way better.
So much more action, and it looked like it was, I won't say it was more well choreographed, but it was more of their style than anything else. I think it was more believable because they had, I'll say, more similar builds, more stout and whatnot, whereas A. Dennis was super lanky and couldn't really do as much. And he always looked like he was really uneasy in a match with Mastiff. Everything Mastiff and Coffey did just seemed like second nature to them. Like they had fought each other like 50 or 60 different times in almost like the same kind of scenarios. So, yeah, that made that match that much better, I believe. So
yeah, I agree. Way better than the match with Eddie Dennis.
Yeah.
At the last TakeOver. Way better. So this leads us into the NXT UK Women's Championship match. We've got Toni Storm defending against Kaylee Ray, and this was an okay match for about half of it.
Yeah.
And then it got into something decent. And then it was pretty good up at the end. There were a lot of spots that it just seemed like it was just finisher teaser spots.
Yeah.
A lot of finisher teaser spots. At one point, they both land their respective finishers on the other and get kickouts at 2 for their efforts. It was a pretty good match. It was more than
Toni looked like she was doing more tantrums than anything else in this match.
Yeah, she started the match with a pout, and she continued at one point, she was crying.
Yeah.
While she was delivering moves. At another point, the announcer said, "Oh, this is the Toni Storm that we remember. Like, this is the old Toni Storm." But this is just where she was just punching away at Kaylee Ray.
Yeah.
Just punching and I'm like, that's not. It's tantrum punching.
Yes, it is.
But good match. And Kaylee Ray takes the shiny, and hopefully that's the last time I have to say that.
I've never been so happy to be wrong in my entire life.
Yeah, I called Kaylee Ray for the victory.
Everybody did, so I think, except for me. I called for Toni Storm.
If only I had gone with you and my instincts going into the predictions, I'd be perfect up until this point. But I called for a title retention, and we knew Flash Morgan Webster and Mandrews were going to fucking...
Yeah.
But anyway, This was, I've got several notes here. More notes than I did for Noam Dar.
Like, pretty much you had Tony Storm nailing all of her moves. You had Kaylee Ray like doing a whole bunch of ring psychology, which is cool to watch. Kaylee Ray's just fun to watch in the ring in general because like she's not really flash in the pan or anything, but she's very well versed in every hold that she does, and every strike is very concise. So Tony Storm just looked like a mess in the entire match.
To me, this was relatively short for a TakeOver championship match, but it didn't need to be longer than it was.
And it was kind of hard to follow up the match we just watched.
Well, we enter the match with the storyline of Kaylee Ray and Tony Storm being longtime friends, and now, you know, you've got the belt coming between them, and Kaylee Ray's the heel, and she's going to get in the head of Tony Storm, who's crying through the whole fucking match. So you've got all of that. And then the story in the ring is, again, the teasing and the execution of finishers. So my first note is the teasing. So Tony Storm tries to go for Storm Zero, but Kaylee Ray reverses that into an attempt at the Gory Bomb, but that gets reversed into a Sunset Bomb by Tony Storm. That was pretty cool. Storm hits a headbutt and then a Storm Zero near fall. Kaylee Ray hits 2 super kicks and a Gory Bomb for a near fall. See what I'm getting at here, folks?
Yeah.
Let's see. They get up on the top, and Kaylee Ray goes for a Gory Bomb off the top turnbuckle, but gets reversed, and Tony Storm goes for a Storm Zero off the top turnbuckle. See what I'm getting at, folks? That gets reversed into a backdrop, but Tony lands on her feet, comes back, and does a German suplex off the middle rope, which was pretty cool. Kaylee Ray hits a backdrop to Tony Storm off the top, who lands on her. Yeah, that's the spot. So Kaylee Ray hits a plancha off the top turnbuckle. This was my next to last note. She runs the ring, dives off the top, hits Tony Storm with the plancha, and then throws her back in the ring, and hits a Gory Bomb onto the top rope, then picks her up and hits a Gory Bomb for the pinfall.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. Kaylee Ray, new women's champion.
It needed to happen.
Yes,
I'm glad it happened.
Yes, I am.
Yeah.
I agree. So we are on to the main event.
Yes.
And I'm not going to lie. The first part of this match made me think this was going to be the other kind of sleeper.
Yeah.
The bad kind of sleeper. I thought this was about
it was
to be
going to
really
be a boring match.
Yeah, boring and shitty. Up until the point to where Walter goes to do a powerbomb into the ring post. He doesn't get enough momentum pushing forward.
No.
And Tyler Bate goes head first into the ring post to the point to where the ref can't start a 10 count. He goes to check on him, gets a trainer over there, and the trainer wants to see probably if he's concussed.
Yeah.
And not a good sign. Tyler Bate says, just give me a minute.
Yeah, he's just one minute. One minute. He's being very polite about it, too, the entire time.
At some point, the ref starts the 10 count, and Tyler Bate gets in the ring. We get a couple of counts where Tyler Bate has to break. But
I think that was more or less to regain the rest of his senses. But
yeah.
At the same time, he regained them.
Once he finally gets back into the match, though, this is where it takes off. Mm-hmm. Walter goes for a powerbomb attempt on the apron, but Bate reverses it to an exploder onto the floor. That was wicked. And then, let's see. Tyler Bate goes up top, comes down, but Walter chops him out of the air. Onto his back, I think, though. They were probably going for a front chop, but by the end of the match, back chop's just fine. Anywhere you can get one, because Tyler Bate's chest was lit the fuck up.
Yeah.
So after the back chop out of midair, he goes for a Boston Crab. Tyler Bate tries to get out, so he backs up and puts it into a lion salt. Or not a lion salt, a lion tamer.
Lion tamer.
And transitions that into a crossface. And then that into like 3 different versions of a crossface before Tyler Bate finally makes it to the ropes. Where am I at? Crossface. So Walter drop kicks Tyler Bate face first into the middle turnbuckle. and then goes for the power bomb, but mid power bomb, Tyler Bate reverses it into a sunset bomb for a near fall. And then Walter goes up for the splash, but Tyler Bate counters it with a headbutt. Well, he climbs the ropes or he jumps the ropes and counters it with a headbutt. And then finger snaps Walter and then does the exploder off the top rope. Top rope exploder.
Yes.
Jesus Christ. Lots of exploders actually in this match. But anyway, he gets a near fall. And then he goes for that Peter Pan lariat. And Walter counters that with, you guessed it, an exploder. Exploder suplex. Then he goes for the power bomb, but Bate counters it. And then actually picks Walter up for that airplane spin. Then puts him on the top rope to turn him around and hits him with a burning hammer.
That was just beautifully done. That could have gone so wrong, especially with all the back work that had been done on Tyler Bate at that point. But
so Walter rolls to the outside, and Tyler Bate hits a tope suicida, gets back in the ring, hits a tope con hero, and then gets Walter back in the ring and hits a German suplex with a bridge, like that fucking deadlift German. He deadlift German, oh Jesus, for a near fall.
Yep.
And then he goes for a Tyler driver, but Walter counters it into a backdrop. But Tyler holds on, pushes up the bridge, flips it around, still hits the Tyler driver. Near fall. Wow. And then Walter starts trying to put in the sleeper. No, then Bate goes up top, hits the corkscrew senton, near fall. He can't get a fall here.
No,
and then Walter ends up, he starts trying to do the sleeper hold, gets a grapevine in a bunch. Tyler Bate keeps fighting it off. Somehow he climbs the ropes and ends up on the apron, brings Walter with him. Walter goes for the sleeper again, this time sleeper suplex onto the fucking apron. Puts him in the ring, does the splash off the top rope. Perfect splash, near fall. Picks him up, hits him with a powerbomb number 1, full-on stack-up pin, near fall. Tyler Bate kicked out at 1.
That wasn't a near fall. That was a 1 count.
Yeah, 1 count.
And
you're right.
Like Tyler at that point looked pissed. He looked determined.
So what does Walter have to do to pin Tyler Bate? The answer, a clothesline.
Not just any clothesline.
Clothesline from hell. Easily comes off the ropes, hits him with it, turns Tyler Bate inside out. 1, 2, 3. Walter is still your WWE United Kingdom champion.
The crowd was eating this up, and then you had that moment of just like silence after that clothesline got hit. Everybody just knew that was it.
I don't know. I honestly didn't think a clothesline was going to do it. I thought he'd take a clothesline and then pick him up and hit the powerbomb again.
I'd already talked to you about this before we start recording. This was not going to end with one of their moves. It had to end with something not really unorthodox, but something that like they wouldn't expect to be pinned after. And sure enough, a clothesline that powerful was enough to keep him down long enough for a 3 count. Sometimes the most sometimes simplest of moves can keep you down for the rest of the 3 count. And that's all you really need, that count of 3.
The first third of this match was like yawning boring.
Yeah.
Then Tyler got hit in the head by a ring post.
and shit got real.
And it got pretty good.
Yeah.
And then the last third of the match was pretty awesome, especially all the near falls, just because, not because of the buy-in of the near fall or anything, but the moves that they hit prior to the near fall. Wow.
Support NoDQ.
That brings us to the end of the main event. And on the NXT party, we like to rate the main event using good old-fashioned NXT. So that's what we're going to do tonight. Out of 5 spots of NXT, Jerry, where do you rate the main event of NXT UK TakeOver Cardiff?
All right. I'm not sure if I should rate it against the Pete Dunne Joe Coffey match that we got in the first one, but if I was, I still give it 4 1/4 at least. I thought the match was just brilliant. especially, like you said, it took a little while to pick up. But when it did pick up, there were so many near falls. There was so much crowd interaction and everything else. The crowd was just lit here. Granted, that most of the crowd was dark, but you could tell that there's like this big fight atmosphere during the entire thing. Everybody stood up almost the entire match, which was awesome. And the finish, though, it was, not really a run of the mill, okay, powerbomb number one, awkward pin, 1, 2, 3. That clothesline, I'd say it took the wind not only out of Tyler Bate, but the wind out the crowd. Because there was this gasp afterwards after Tyler Bate did not get out of it. And kind of like a feeling of hopelessness around some of them. They're like, who the hell are we going to have beat Walter now? There's really nobody left. And you have this whole locker room guys like, well, fuck you then. But then you had Pete Dunne and Trent Seven come out there and like pick him up off his feet, pick him up and help him dust off and whatnot.
That was after Imperium came out and posed with Walter on the stage. That looked great.
That was really cool too. But either one of those endings would have been fine. There was no show of respect either. I show up either set. Just more or less a show of surprise from Walter that he kicked out of that power bomb at 1.
Yeah, wow.
Because he set out in a couple different promos say he's gonna make a man out of Tyler Bate, and I think that's what he did with that power bomb. So yeah, I'm gonna go with 4 1/4 on this one.
Well, this entire show exceeded my expectations.
Yeah.
Every single match exceeded my expectations, low as they might have been for some of the matches.
Yeah.
This match included. I had higher expectations coming out of seeing Tyler Bate hit the Tyler driver on Walter, and I'm like, well, maybe the size difference isn't going to be a problem, and he's actually going to put on some of his more spectacular moves. And I was not disappointed. In fact, it exceeded my expectations again. I'm going to initially agree with 4 1/4, but I'm going to give it an extra quarter spot of T off the back of a great show.
Great takeover. So yeah, I'll have to do the same damn thing. 4 1/2.
So we are going to agree on 4 1/2 spots of NXT for the main event. That brings us
still better than Prince AD getting the red and blue brand. Hands down.
This is true. So that brings us to the end of this Rated R review / general recap of NXT UK TakeOver Cardiff. Let us know what you think down in the comments. Also down in the comments, if you'd like to be on a future episode of the NXT party, come join us, have a spot, again, of NXT, and help us review a future episode of NXT UK. You can find me on Twitter. Go to nodq.com /Stefan. That's STEFAN. Or if you just want to find me on Twitter, it's at Stefan R. Osborne, OSBORNE. As always, the R stands for restricted. You can also find the gentleman on Twitter
at NoDQ Gerald, and also my Facebook group, Armbar, all capital, ARMBAR.
The exclamation point.
Join us there for different discussions and whatnot, or you even talk about, joining up with us on a podcast there too. Either way. I'm always throwing out invites when we don't have somebody else to do the show with us. So,
also follow me on Instagram where I have no content, but I think it'd be hilarious to have 100 followers or more.
Mm-hmm.
I'm halfway there somehow with no content.
You got a piece of toast on there and probably at least 100.
So that's osborne.stefan on Instagram. Also, if you like this video, do us a favor, click the like button that's underneath me. And if you like all of our videos, do yourself a favor and click the subscribe button that's over there underneath Jerry and his red phone.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're subscribed to NoDQ.com, click that bell icon, because over on our channel, we are heading towards 100 subscribers. We are at 99. We're so close. And we're going to start doing What's NXT? That's our NXT review live on NoDQ's channel every week. Thursday morning, about 7 o'clock-ish, somewhere around there. Give or take 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And that bell icon will let you know when we go live. So maybe you can join us on a Thursday morning to bullshit about NXT. Come have breakfast with us.
Yeah.
Also, join us on our channel. That's Aftermatch Wrestling, all one word, AFTERMATCH, Aftermatch Wrestling. And that's where all of our videos go first and in HD.
High definition.
High definition. So if that's important to you, you watch it on your big HD TV, then come find us on Aftermatch. One more dedicated subscriber and we will be at 100, and for like the 4th time.
Yep.
Trolls, man.
Trolls.
So come join us there. Thank you for joining us here. This has been a great episode, a great review.
Really weird doing this in the afternoon.
Really weird, but we've got a board game party tonight for Jerry's birthday that was this past Monday. So happy belated birthday to Jerry. You can send that love downstairs in the comments. Also, if you want to join us and join the NX team and you don't have Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, if you don't have smoke signals to get to us, leave your email address. We will get to you.
Yep.
And it's doable. So, for the General Jerry Slaughter, I am the Wizard of NoDQ, Stephen Osborne. Thank you for having a spot of NXT with us, and we will see you NXT time.